Hey Gravity Falls fans, have you ever wondered what's buzzing inside the mind of Bill Cipher? Well, buckle up, because today I'm diving into the Book of Bill, written by Alex Hirsch. Released on July 23rd, 2024, this book is a chaotic companion to our beloved series Gravity Falls. It's a memoir and a manifesto from our favorite triangular villain, Bill Cipher. Think of it as Bill's own scrapbook, filled with thoughts, memories, and some of the wildest drawings you've ever seen. The book is a visual feast. Every page bursts with colorful illustrations, strange diagrams, and cryptic puzzles. It's designed to make you feel like you're holding a cursed artifact straight out of the show. And trust me, it's as unsettling as it is hilarious. Themes? Oh, it's rich with them. Power and corruption are front and center as Bill glorifies chaos and domination. Deception and reality blur with his unreliable narration, making you question what's true. And the meta-narrative? It's Bill's wink to all of us, referencing fan theories and inviting us to decode every hidden secret. Let's talk characters. Bill Cipher is the star here, egomaniacal, charming, and completely unhinged. The Pines family pops up in Bill's distorted memories, along with some historical figures and even aliens. Reception-wise, fans and critics went wild. It hit the New York Times bestseller list and reignited the Gravity Falls fandom's passion. It's more than a book, it's an experience that challenges storytelling norms with its interactive design. My verdict, an essential read for Gravity Falls fans and a chaotic ride for everyone else. I rate it a solid 9.5 out of 10. So, have you read the Book of Bill? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more Gravity Falls content. Bye for now. Exposing the tactics in mythology, discover how Odysseus redefined strategy and warfare. Odysseus wasn't just a warrior, he was a grandmaster of strategy. Picture the night before the fall of Troy. 10 years of bloody stalemate. Warriors despaired, but Odysseus, he saw opportunity. Odysseus understood the power of deception, a principle echoed in Sun Tzu's "All warfare is based on deception. Enter the Trojan horse." Odysseus' brilliant ploy to conceal his true intentions, embodying Law 3 from the Trojans thought they had won. They danced, celebrated, dragged the wooden gift inside their gates, and then disaster. Odysseus and his hidden warriors emerged, turning celebration into carnage. This act wasn't just a victory, it was a testament to strategic mastery. Odysseus turned apparent surrender into devastating triumph. He played the fool to catch the enemy off guard. Odysseus' legacy, it's more than myth, it's a masterclass in strategic thinking. Stay tuned for more epic insights from the ultimate strategist. Subscribe and join the adventure.
Welcome to the Megamorphs Zone. Bigger adventures, bigger dangers. So, you think you know the Animorphs? You think Jake, Rachel, Cassie, Marco, Tobias, and Aximili Esgaruth Isthill have faced it all? Think again. Welcome to the Megamorphs. These aren't your everyday battles against Yeerks in the school gym or the local mall. Oh no, the Megamorphs books are different. They are bigger, the stakes are higher. The enemies are sometimes, well, let's just say they're not always just controller slugs in human heads. Sometimes the whole planet is on the line, or even all of time itself. It's a wild ride, and you're invited to join. These special edition books take our favorite heroes and plunge them into situations that push them beyond their limits. Imagine the usual chaos, the morphing, the narrow escapes. Now multiply that by 1,000. That's a Megamorphs adventure for you. We're talking about threats so massive, so universe-altering, that it takes all 6 of them working together in ways they've never had to before to even stand a chance. These stories often involve strange alien technologies, impossible choices, and journeys to places or times you wouldn't believe. It's where the normal rules of the war often go right out the window. What makes a Megamorphs book, you ask? It's the scale, mostly. The problems are enormous. The solutions have to be just as big, but it's also about the perspective. In many of these books, you get to hear from all the Animorphs. Not just one narrator, but chapters from Jake, then Rachel, then maybe Marco, and so on. This gives you a front-row seat inside everyone's head. You feel their fear, their hope, their desperation, and sometimes their really bad jokes. Yes, Marco, I'm often looking at you for those. These aren't just side quests either. The Megamorphs adventures are crucial. They test the team. They reveal secrets about the universe, about the Andalites, the Yeerks, and even about themselves. The kids grow. They change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes carrying new scars. So, buckle up. If you're new to the Animorphs, these books will show you just how intense their world can get. And if you're an old fan, well, you know these are the ones you can't put down. Let's dive in. Megamorphs. Number 1. The Andalites' Gift, a trip to Trouble Time. The first Megamorphs adventure kicks things off with a bang, or maybe a roar. A very, very loud dinosaur roar. It all starts with a mysterious message, a distress signal, seemingly from another Andalite. Hope, right? Maybe reinforcements? Wrong. So very wrong. The message leads the Animorphs not to an ally, but to a trap, and not just any trap. This one is set by the Yeerks, of course, but with a nasty new alien creature involved, the Veleek. Imagine a creature that's like a living, thinking cloud of destructive energy. Not fun. The Veleek is a terrifying problem. But the Yeerks have an even bigger plan. They want to use this creature, and some very dangerous Andalite time travel technology they've somehow gotten their claws on, to change history. Their target? The asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. If they can stop that asteroid, dinosaurs might still rule the Earth. And humans? Humans might never have evolved. No humans means no Animorphs, no resistance. A perfect prehistoric pantry for the Yeerks. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? So Jake, Rachel, Cassie, Marco, Tobias, and Axe find themselves zapped back to the Cretaceous period. Think about that. The air is different, the plants are alien, and everything wants to eat you. They have to survive hungry T-Rexes, swarms of giant insects, and all the other dangers of a world long gone, all while trying to figure out how to stop the Yeerks from messing with the timeline, and they have to deal with the Veleek, which is a nightmare all on its own. It's a race against time, literally. The premise is huge. Save the future by fixing the past. The kids are completely out of their element. Their morphs, usually so powerful, suddenly seem small against the backdrop of giant dinosaurs, and an alien force that can dissolve anything it touches. This book immediately shows you what Megamorphs are all about. It's about impossible odds. It's about the fate of the entire planet resting on the shoulders of 6 brave kids, and it's about making choices when there are no good options left. A classic start to a mega series. The Andalites' Gift facing extinction, finding strength. What really stands out in is the sheer desperation. Imagine being a teenager, already fighting a secret war, and then being thrown into a prehistoric jungle. The fear is real. You can feel it in Rachel's fierce determination to fight, even when she's terrified. You see it in Jake's struggle to lead when he has no idea what the right call is. Marco tries to crack jokes, but even his humor is strained. Cassie worries about the ecosystem, about the natural order, even as she fights for her life. Tobias, as a hawk, experiences this ancient world from a unique, soaring perspective, yet feels the danger acutely. The emotional impact on the characters is intense. They have to confront the reality that their actions could erase their own existence, or worse, condemn the future to Yeerk domination. There's a moment where they realize just how fragile history is, how one small change could unravel everything. This isn't just about fighting Yeerks anymore, it's about protecting the very fabric of reality. The weight of that responsibility is crushing, and you see each character grapple with it in their own way. It's a heavy burden for such young shoulders to bear. The main theme here is the responsibility that comes with power, even the power you never asked for. The Animorphs have the power to morph, and now they're tangled up with time travel. What do they do with that? How do they make sure they're not making things worse? There's also a strong theme of survival. Not just their own survival, but the survival of their species, their world. They are fighting for the future they know, a future where humans exist and have a chance to be free. It's a primal fight. Another standout element is the Veleek. It's not just a monster, it's almost a force of nature, an embodiment of destruction. The way the kids have to think outside the box to even try and deal with it shows their ingenuity. They can't just punch their way out of this one. This book also reinforces the importance of teamwork. No single Animorph could handle this. They need each other's strengths, each other's ideas, and even each other's comfort when things get too dark. It truly sets the tone for the epic scale of Megamorphs. Megamorphs number 2, In the Time of Dinosaurs, Echoes of What If. The second Megamorphs book might sound like we're going back to the Cretaceous period again, and we are, but this time, things are even more twisted. This isn't a direct sequel to the first one in terms of plot, but it revisits the prehistoric past with a fresh, terrifying new problem. This time, it's not the Yeerks trying to change the past, at least not directly. It's something far more insidious. The trouble begins when the Animorphs encounter a being called the Drode. If you think Visser 3 is bad news, the Drode is like a cosmic trickster, a servant of a Krayak, an entity of pure evil. The Drode plays games, horrible, deadly games, and the Animorphs are its newest unwilling players. The premise is this: the Drode, for its own amusement and Krayak's dark purposes, starts messing with timelines. It shows the Animorphs alternate realities. What if Elfangor had never landed on Earth? What if the Yeerks had won easily? What if some of the Animorphs had made different choices at crucial moments? These aren't just visions, they are terrifyingly real glimpses into what could have been, or what could still be if they fail. The Animorphs are snatched from their own timeline and dumped into these alternate realities. One moment they're fighting Yeerks in their familiar city, the next they're in a world where humanity is enslaved or where some of their own team members don't even exist. They have to navigate these broken timelines, try to understand what went wrong, and somehow find their way back to their own reality before the Drode decides to make one of these nightmares permanent. It's a psychological horror show as much as a physical battle. This book is a mind-bender. It forces the Animorphs and you, the reader, to confront the idea that their struggle, their sacrifices might not be enough, or that a single different choice could have led to utter disaster. It's about the fragility of their fight, and the terrifying power of beings like the Drode and Krayak. The stakes are, once again, astronomical. It's not just about saving the world, it's about saving their own existence and the meaning of their choices. The dinosaurs are there, yes, but they are almost a backdrop to the larger, more existential dread. Section 5. In the Time of Dinosaurs, Worlds Unraveled, Lessons Learned. What makes so memorable and chilling are those glimpses into the what-ifs. Imagine seeing a world where your best friends never got their morphing powers, and the Yeerks rule unopposed, or a world where one of your team made a selfish choice that doomed everyone else. These visions are designed to break their spirit. The Drode wants to show them that their fight is pointless, that evil will always find a way. It's a heavy psychological attack on already stressed-out kids. The bleakness of some of these realities is truly shocking. The emotional impact is huge. Jake sees worlds where his leadership failed catastrophically. Rachel confronts realities where her aggression led to terrible consequences. Cassie witnesses outcomes where her compassion was twisted or insufficient. Marco faces scenarios where his pragmatism wasn't enough. Tobias sees futures where his unique situation becomes even more tragic. Axe grapples with the weight of Andalite failures and the potential for his own. It forces each of them to look deep inside themselves and question their motivations, their strengths, and their weaknesses. It's a brutal form of self-reflection. The main theme here is the classic battle of fate versus free will. Are their actions truly making a difference, or are they just puppets in a larger game played by cosmic beings like Krayak and the Elemist? The Drode certainly wants them to believe the latter, but the Animorphs, in their defiance, represent the power of choice, the refusal to give up even when faced with overwhelming despair. There's also a strong theme about the burden of knowledge. Seeing these terrible possibilities is a curse, but it also strengthens their resolve to prevent them. Another standout element is the sheer cleverness and cruelty of the Drode. It's not a brute force enemy, it's a psychological manipulator. This makes the conflict much more nuanced and terrifying. The kids can't just morph into a grizzly bear and solve this problem. They have to use their wits, their courage, and their bond as a team to resist the Drode's mental torture and find a way out. This book really deepens the cosmic lore of the Animorphs universe, introducing Krayak as a major antagonistic force and showing just how big the war truly is. Section 6. Megamorphs number 3, Elfangor's Secret, Before We Were Animorphs. The third Megamorphs book takes us on a different kind of journey. Not to the time of dinosaurs, but into the past of someone very important, Prince Elfangor Serenial Shamtul, the Andalite warrior who gave the Animorphs their morphing powers, the one who sacrificed himself in that abandoned construction site to give humanity a fighting chance. We know how his story ended. But how did it begin? What was he like before he became the legend the kids know? This book pulls back the curtain. The premise is fascinating. Through a strange series of events involving Andalite technology and, you guessed it, more timeline weirdness, it's a Megamorph staple. The Animorphs find themselves experiencing key moments from Elfangor's life. Not just as observers, but sometimes almost Elfangor, or alongside him. They get to see his early days as a young, promising junior warrior. They witness his friendship with another young Andalite named Arbron, and they see his first encounters with humans, long before he met them. This isn't just a history lesson. Elfangor's past is directly connected to the present war against the Yeerks. The Animorphs uncover secrets about his mission to Earth. They learn about the difficult choices he had to make. They see his struggles, his fears, and his courage. It's a very personal journey for Axe, of course, because Elfangor was his older brother. But it's also deeply moving for the human Animorphs, who owe their powers and their lives to this brave Andalite prince. This book gives us a glimpse of Elfangor not just as a war hero, but as a person. An Andalite, yes, but with relatable hopes and fears. We see him make mistakes. We see him fall in love. We see him face impossible odds, much like the Animorphs do now. It adds so much depth to his character, and makes his sacrifice even more meaningful. It also reveals more about the early days of the Yeerk War, how the Andalites fought it, and the complex politics involved. It's a story about legacy and how the past shapes the present. Section 7. Elfangor's Secret, A Hero's Past, Our Future's Fight. One of the most standout elements is seeing Elfangor as a young, sometimes uncertain, individual. We often think of heroes as flawless, but this book shows his journey, his growth. He wasn't born a perfect warrior prince. He had to learn. He had to struggle. There's a poignant part where he even lives as a human for a time, which gives him a unique perspective that ultimately leads him to trust humans with the morphing power. Seeing this human side of Elfangor is incredibly powerful for the kids, especially for Axe. The emotional impact is profound. For Axe, it's like getting to know the brother he idolized on a much deeper level, seeing his vulnerabilities as well as his strengths. For the human Animorphs, it's understanding the true depth of the sacrifice Elfangor made for them, for Earth. It humanizes, or perhaps andalitizes in a relatable way, this almost mythical figure. It makes them feel even more connected to the Andalite cause, and to the memory of the one who started it all for them. It's a story that brings both tears and a renewed sense of purpose. The main themes in this book revolve around sacrifice, legacy, and the origins of their fight. What does it mean to be a hero? What kind of sacrifices are necessary in wartime? Elfangor's story is full of hard choices and personal costs. The book also explores the theme of hope. Even in his darkest moments, Elfangor held on to hope, and that hope is the legacy he passed on to the Animorphs. It teaches them that their fight is part of a much larger, older struggle, and that they are not alone in their values. Learning about Elfangor's companion Arbron, who ends up trapped in a taxon morph permanently, is another incredibly tragic and powerful storyline within this Megamorphs. It highlights the horrors of war and the terrible fates that can befall even brave warriors. It's a stark reminder of what Tobias lives with every day, and what any of them could face. Isn't just about looking back, it's about understanding why they fight, and the kind of courage it takes to keep fighting, inspired by those who came before them. Section 8. Megamorphs number 4, Back to Before, The Dream of a Normal Life. The final, Megamorphs book, hits the Animorphs where they are most vulnerable, their hearts, their deepest, most secret desire. What if the war had never happened? What if they had never met Elfangor, never received the morphing power, never had to fight the Yeerks? What if they could just be normal kids? This book explores that tantalizing, heartbreaking what if. It's a temptation on a cosmic scale because for a little while, they get to live it. The premise is this. After a particularly brutal battle, the Animorphs are given a chance by the Ellimist, that powerful, enigmatic being who sometimes helps, sometimes hinders, to see what their lives would have been like if they'd never become Animorphs. They are sent back in time to the day they cut through the construction site, but this time they make a different choice. They don't go in. Elfangor still crashes, he still dies, but they aren't there. The Yeerks get the morphing cube. The invasion proceeds, perhaps differently, perhaps more successfully. They wake up in a world where they are just regular teenagers. Jake is still into basketball, Rachel is still into fashion and gymnastics, Cassie is still passionate about animals, Marco is still the class clown, living with his dad. Tobias's situation is particularly poignant, as his pre-Animorph life was already tough. They have no memory of the war, of morphing, of each other as a team. For a while, it seems like a dream come true. No fighting, no secrets, no constant fear, just homework, friends, and normal teenage problems. But of course, this normal world isn't perfect. The Yeerk invasion is still happening, silently, insidiously. And even without their memories, the core of who they are, their courage, their compassion, their sense of justice, begins to stir. They start to notice things are wrong. They feel a pull towards each other, an inexplicable bond. The question becomes, is a life of blissful ignorance truly better than a life of struggle for a worthy cause? It's a powerful dilemma that cuts to the very core of their identities. Section 9. Back to before. The true cost of war and the power within us. The standout element is the profound emotional journey each character undertakes. Living that normal life, even temporarily, shows them exactly what they've sacrificed. The simple joys, the lack of constant terror, the chance to just be young. It's bittersweet. They experience a taste of peace, but underneath it, something feels wrong. The world without their intervention is a world slowly succumbing to the Yeerks. It forces them, and us, to truly understand the weight of their decision to fight. Was it worth it? The impact of this what-if scenario is shattering. When their memories of the war and their powers eventually return, the contrast is stark. They see the friends they were, the lives they could have had, and then they remember the grim reality they chose. This experience doesn't break them though. Instead, it strengthens their resolve in a way. This fight. They chose to protect Earth, even at great personal cost. This realization brings a new level of maturity and acceptance of their roles, however painful. It's a powerful affirmation of their heroism. The main themes are identity, acceptance, and the true meaning of heroism. Who are they without the war? Are they defined by their powers or by the choices they make? They learn that their heroism isn't just about morphing, it's about their courage, their loyalty, and their willingness to stand up for what's right, even when normal life is so tempting. It's about understanding that true peace isn't just the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice and freedom, things worth fighting for. They accept their destiny not with joy but with grim determination. The Megamorphs books as a whole are vital to the Animorphs saga. They expand the universe, introduce cosmic stakes, and push the characters to their absolute limits, forcing incredible growth. In particular, serves as a capstone, reminding us of the human cost of this alien war. These 4 books are more than just exciting sci-fi adventures. They are deep explorations of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring strength of the human and Andalite and avian spirit. I invite you to look at how each character changes, not just in these books, but across the entire series. Their arcs are what make this story unforgettable. They are heroes, real heroes, and their story is far from over.